In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.
So welcome to the What's That Music About podcast. I'm your host, DJ Rambo Rich, and today's guest is a rapper by the name of S3raph. So with no further ado, I'm just going to get him to introduce himself, tell him about what his music about, and then we'll start the rest of the show. So first of all, thanks so much for you to coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
A pleasure,
I really
man.
appreciate it. So if you just tell us a bit about yourself and about your music, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, man. So my name's S3raph, as you know. I'm an artist from Preston. I started doing music with my mates. It was basically started when we were about like 18 in the kitchen sessions, after parties and stuff. Like my mates were all DJs, so they would spin like stuff like on the decks. Pretty much anything from house, drum and bass, tech, all sorts of stuff. So I'd just like hop on the mic with a couple of mates, yeah, and we'd just start spraying bars over every tempo. And I guess like as they progressed in like their sort of DJ routes and stuff, when they started getting booked out up in like Preston and Manchester and Liverpool and stuff, at first there was a lot of drum and bass. So a couple of my mates like Warhead, Pyro, the sick DJs, my best mates. They got us on a few of their events. My producer and a longtime friend as well, Jamie Brennan, Chemix. He used to put on his own events and then got me on a bunch of them. So at first I was kind of like a host MC, going over like drum and bass and like bass line, things like that. And then yeah, it just kind of we did events up in like Liverpool, Manny, Liverpool, lot sumo events. Got booked out in Amsterdam, so flew out to there. It was my boy's birthday out there, so got to shell it down in like places like Melkweg, and we had our own boat party and stuff. And I was like, right, 19. I was there shelling it in front of like 1,000 people from all over the world, and I was like, this is that crack, man. This is that stuff that I've been fiending for, man. So from there, it just kind of like spiraled out, man. Like we always grew up around music. It was always prevalent within our crew, even in my household as a kid. I have a massive family, so like loads of cousins. They were all into like garage, grime, things like that. So
Yeah.
when I was like 10 years old, I remember being on my uncle's, remember Windows Media Player? Now, I'm taking it back. I'm taking it way back, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a 91 kid, so I totally get that.
Yeah, so I was at my uncle's house and no one was allowed in that computer room, or else they got battered. But they used to sneak in there, yeah, go on Windows Media Player. And I came across like Wiley and Kano. And that was when grime was first starting out, man. And I remember the first tune, Ghetto Coyote, Kano. And then from the Kano, Wiley, and then Roll Deep came out, like with all Skepta and everyone in that one crew. And my brother bought me on my 10th birthday, Roll Deep in at the Deep End. Yeah. And man, I was gassed. I learned every single lyric to that, to like those songs, man. And like, obviously, 10 years old, yeah, you're spitting all these like mad bars and that, yeah. Like from like When I'm Here, Shake a Leg, things like that, and The Avenue. But even like the production and stuff like that, it was all so new at the time. And it was just something completely different. And seeing like artists like from like grime MCs usually came from like jungle drum and bass backgrounds as well. So that transition of just like the whole melding pot of just creativity that was going on in the UK it was an exciting time for music, really.
Are we talking 90s here?
We're talking about early 2000s.
Yeah.
So early 2000s is when that transition happened. So, I mean, like I said, from a young age, I used to sit in front of YouTube, like when it was first starting out. And I just used to watch music videos all day and just memorize lyrics from, like, say, Lupe Fiasco, Tupac, and like all the American artists that you usually listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nas and all that coming up. And yeah, I was just always just like, I liked beats. Don't get me wrong, but I always listened to lyrics because it was just like storytelling, but on like a crazy level. Like where there's so many like metaphors and things like that, and just some of the bars in there were just like sort of like life lessons, that you take on. When you think about music, sometimes it brings you back. Certain tunes bring you back to a certain memory, and I suppose when I grew up, after I was doing the whole hosting stuff, I kind of wanted to make a name, like my own lane, because I was like, at the end of the day, I wanna make real music, and my lyrics are um they're quite deep, and they're quite like storytelling and stuff like that, and it's about my life and stuff. So I wanted more people to listen to the tunes instead of just being wired and getting down to it in a club. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
I will say this on the song "Damaged." When I can't remember the exact line, but you say something like from the city of Preston, something along the lines of that. I was like, it was so nice to hear some rap music where someone's like representing Preston. Do you know what I mean? Like for
you've got it,
ages,
man.
yeah. It was one of those moments for me. I was like, finally, yes. Like you hear about like American rappers and things. They always go like they're from the Bronx or New York or Atlanta or wherever it may be. But to hear that as someone say Preston, it's like that's a moment. That is. Do you know what I mean?
It is, but do you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of this thing where if you're from the outer boroughs of like anywhere that's not Manchester, say like even like from Blackburn or whatever like that, yeah, not a lot of people put on front front and like then they go to these cities and then they say they're from Manchester, but they're
Yeah.
not. They've gone there because the opportunity was there. The thing is with Preston's got so many talented artists, yeah, of
Mm.
all different kinds, but they just never get a light shone on them. You know what I mean? And in your music, like you've got a rep where you're from. You got a rep where
Yeah.
the people who championed you first before you even branched out anywhere else. You've got to like rep that kind of respect that you got there in it, your foundations, I suppose. So I think more artists, we need to like I say, Preston is a melding pot of so many sick artists, but we need to come together and we need to push this city because
Definitely.
really all the boroughs around Preston and Lancashire and everything like that, really, Preston should be the hub that they're coming to instead of going out to Manchester and going down there to studios there and stuff like that. Really, creativity should be getting like pushed in Preston as the city around that area. You know what I mean? For people
Definitely.
to rep where they're coming from.
Do you know what I feel really positive about because the people I've spoken to today are mainly from Preston and they've said
Yeah,
something exactly what you've just said there and it makes me feel like things are going to change. Do you know what I mean? With all these people that want the change in music in Preston, we're
Mm.
going to make it happen, mate. It's going to
Yeah,
happen.
definitely. Definitely. There's something going on at the moment. In the past like 5, 10 years, there's been a lot of like I think there's been a lot more like eyes on this place. Like I say, we've got people running events with like big headliners from all different places, and they're coming to Preston. They're seeing what crowds can be brought in, and they can see the artists that are like getting booked as like supports and things like that. So I think there is a lot more eyes on it than there was, yeah, back in the years. But I mean, you know what I mean. You got to put in the legwork. You just got to.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I basically when I started making music, my first event was my boy Chemix. He said to me in the studio one time. I was doing I was in another group with like a bunch of guys doing like sort of like Afro beats kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then them like nipped out for like a quick smoke and that. And then he was like, yo, just wait here one moment, bro. I've got this like grind beat, yeah. Just let me see what you can do on it. And he banged it on and I was like, yeah, this is my shit, bro. So I just I just shelled it on there and he was like, yo, man, I'm not being funny, man. There's something about you, bro. Like just come back on your own. Do the stuff that you did then. And then I just kind of like, what I mean, left it as it was and things like that. And it was about like 4 months or so later. I was just in a bad place in my life, man, where stuff weren't going right friendships, like love life, like job wise, everything. And I was that kind of like, I think a lot of creatives get that where they're at that turning point, they're at that low where you can't go any lower in it. So you may as well just take
Yeah,
every opportunity and just go for it. And I
definitely.
just
Yeah.
and I just basically I said to my boy in the car, and I said, "Yo, I've written this song. This was Zone. This was the verse for Zone." So
Right.
I said to my boy, I went, "I've got this verse. Take a video of me doing it, yeah, on top of the car park, yeah. If it gets some traction, I'll take music seriously. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna sack it off." And mate, he got some traction throughout my whole city. So people were like, yo, put it out, da, da, da. So went to the studio, did Zone. That was my first track I ever recorded in the studio. Locked in recordings. Big it up. Yeah. Follow them on Insta. That's my boy. Um, and yeah, man. The rest is history, man. The thing is, when I create music, I don't make music because I'm thinking, oh, what's popular, what's this, what's that.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of creatives get caught up in that cycle where they're making tunes for other people, but the best artistry comes from you making music that you want to hear, that you want to do, and
Yeah.
then the audience is secondary to that. And I don't mean that in a like negative way, but like your tribe and audience will find you, you know what I mean? And whoever like respects like what craft you're doing, yeah, then that's the positive. That means more than kind of like doing a bunch of TikTok dances, in my opinion, because that's just not me, man. Like I
No,
grew up in
no,
the
no.
I
Yeah.
I grew up in a different era where like it's this TikTok era and stuff like that. It's hard to navigate, man, because you gotta post 70 videos of the same clip on every song, and like me, I'm just past that. I'm not about that stuff, man.
I totally feel you there, man. Like I'm not like I'm
But
not a fan of that myself either.
but it seems a necessary evil now. You know
I
what I
know.
mean? And
Yeah.
and I just literally can't get by that. But do you know what it is? Getting in front of people with my music, yeah. Whenever people listen to me live, whenever people hear my stuff, it's the only thing in my life I've never been told I'm shit at. Yeah. So you gotta run with that, bruv. You know what I mean? You gotta
Definitely. I
run with
mean,
it.
I can relate with that because I'm dyslexic. So, like, the academic stuff wasn't for me. So, like,
Mm.
having the experience of like doing something that's more creative, that's been where my strengths have been because, like, even when I came on here before, didn't I? I said to you, like, oh, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name because I'm dyslexic, but I always full disclosure about it. And, like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, of course.
I'm not hiding it. Do you know what I mean? So, I feel like it's
Well,
really important for me to not hide it because I do the podcast and because I'm a DJ. I want to make sure that if there's someone out there that listens to this, that they know that being dyslexic or having any sort of difficulties isn't a barrier. Just means it's going to
yeah.
take you. You have to find a different route to get to where you want to be, but you'll get there, like I say. So I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
exactly. And I think that's coming onto that, man. Like a lot of creatives, yeah, they all wired up different, man.
Mm,
Like you know who's a creative when you meet them because they'll have some sort of quirky, wacky sort of thing, yeah, with the personality or like something like that. And in academia, especially education, like they just kind of bat you off as being a bad kid or like not doing the work or not being as good as everyone else. Like I'm like say on paper, I was whatever society told me I was going to be. You know what I mean? I was year 11, got kicked out, but like at the end of the day, it was just the teacher, my teacher, my last words that my teacher said to me, and I say this in some of my songs, yeah. I've got it says last words from my head teacher, you will never amount to anything but be a drug dealer. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what he said to me as a 16-year-old kid. Like when I was 12, my dad was a social worker. He went on an overnight stay and he never came back. He was stabbed to death by the person he was looking after.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
So
sorry, man. I'm sorry that happened.
yeah, I mean, you know what it is like. Even through that, I still persevered. I still did what I had to do um, to get by in school, and I was smart. I was in top sets and stuff like that. But there was always this side to me that didn't belong with the posh kids. Like I was around all the posh kids. I was mates with all of them, or like the kids who just had it, life was good for them. But I went home and shit wasn't good at home. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was like a duality of just like personalities. You know what I mean? And I think I think a lot of the time you kind of have to, as a creative, you really battle with yourself, especially when you are trying to do something different. You kind of go, well, why can't my life be as easy and straightforward as everyone else's, And I
Yeah.
think those are those questions you ask yourself a lot, but it's how you channel that and it's how you embrace that kind of side to you
Yeah.
that brings out some of the most magical, like, sort of artistry. Because like I say, I've got tunes like Zone, which is like sort of like a lo-fi jazzy hip hop tune. Then I've
Yeah.
got like Indigo, which is like a kind of like pop kind of like R&B-ish kind of like
Yeah.
pop song. And then I got Digress, which is basically like the lyrics in that song is basically I wrote this. I was with a mate and we'd stayed up all night drinking and stuff like that. And he's proper into his like sort of indie bands. So I said to
Right.
him, I was like, "Yo, man, you're creative and you can mix tunes and stuff, but do you ever like write lyrics and stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, like sometimes and stuff like that." But he's not one of them guys. Trust me, he's like proper grafter, like you know what I mean, like and we sat in my living room and I went, I'll find us a beat that's like indie sort of like rock type and we'll make a hook. And then that's how we came like, sometimes I don't feel right in myself. Sometimes I don't feel like I can relate. It's talking about basically the whole song is like a journey from when you're going out having a good time, getting smashed with your mates and stuff, yeah. It's having that good time, but then the second verse is kind of that bit where you're kind of doing the load of bad stuff, yeah. But then when you're on your own in your bed and you think about it, you're thinking, "Look, yo, man, like, is there something wrong with me?" You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
that's what the chorus is basically just is like. Sometimes I don't feel like I can relate. Sometimes sometimes I try to be myself and digress. Sometimes I get in my head and I stress because when you're on your own in your head, like that's
Yeah.
the scariest place to be, man.
Definitely, definitely. What I was gonna say, just look at my questions there. So, let's talk about your tracks. So let's go through your discography.
So I've got Debauchery. That was my like tune that got me known in Preston, to be fair.
Yeah, I really like that one. That's good, man.
Yeah, that's a crowd favorite from everyone in Preston, man.
But like I was saying before, when I first started this, I really like the artwork that you put on Zone. Like I really like
Yeah,
that it showed the tower blocks in Preston because that is like if you live in Preston, you know like Avenham sort of area, and that's like a
yeah,
landmark for like Preston people. So I really like that, like with the night, like with the lights and it's night and the sky. I really like the artwork on that, man. And I think what I wanted to ask you
respect.
it is. Is there there's a bit at the beginning? It sounds like a sample. I don't know if you actually like made it yourself or it's a sample. I wanted to ask you about that because it's got like an old school sort of vibe at the beginning of it.
Oh, is that Zone? Yeah.
Yeah,
So so when I went into the studio, yeah, it's from one of my favorite films ever,
I thought.
Shawshank Redemption.
Do you know? I actually did think that. I thought it was Morgan Freeman. So
Yeah,
I was like, I know this bit from somewhere, but I'm gonna have to ask this guy like what the bit. I really like the way you've sort of like worked that in there because it. I feel like when people sample, the most important thing is like to make it be complementary to what you're putting to it, and you really do make it complementary to what you're bringing to it, and I like that because I think like the famous one of doing a sample wrong
yeah, yeah,
is Ice Ice Baby.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like, I watched this documentary and they were talking about it and they were saying about how, like, this interview where Vanilla Ice is like saying that the sample's different from David Bowie. Like the dun 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 dun. He just changes the key of it when he does it, and I'm like, no, it's the same song, mate. You've sampled it right. Just be honest.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no,
You ripped it, bro. You didn't sample it, you ripped it. Straight from source.
but
Yeah,
no,
no.
but that's why I like that one so much, because it was done masterfully. And I'm not saying that because you're on. I
Thank you,
would
man.
say that anyway. Like, I was impressed with that. And one thing I am impressed with is the fact that the level of production across your music is like, it's uniform. Like, you can tell it's the same artist. If you know what I mean. When you listen to someone, you think, that's that sound. You can't describe it, but you
Yeah.
know it straight away. Like, that is what I got with your music. So I just wanted to say that, man.
Thank you, man. Do you know what? Yeah, that's literally all I want people to say about my music, man. They hear it, they know exactly who it is, where it's from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the exact feeling I want. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be anyone else. I'm trying to build my own lane, and like I want kids, yeah, who looked like me, yeah, to have somebody that someone can like that they can look up to that reminds them of like speaks to them. You know what I mean? Like
Definitely.
when I was a kid growing up, yeah, there wasn't a lot of Asians around where I lived, yeah, and it was quite racist, to be fair. Let's just put it that
Yeah.
way. And then people would just be like either Amir Khan or Jay Sean. You know what I mean? It was the only
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
Asians that they
Yeah.
knew, yeah, that were
Yeah.
like Asians who spoke English. And I was like, first of all, I don't even look like any of them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like so.
The
But
thing is, I can never, like, when it comes to like racism, I can never understand it.
it's weird for me because like my family we're Pakistani Christian. So first of all, no one even knows we exist, hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of this weird grey area where like growing up, I had a lot of racism off white people, but I also had it in high school off like even like black people, and then even Asian guys who were Muslim well like hated me and wanted to like stab me up because I wasn't Muslim. So it was like, where do I belong? It was this identity crisis of like, I'm British, I'm Pakistani, I'm Christian. Like, which box do I fit into? You know what I mean? So, but I think what it taught me is that regardless of regardless of race or like anything, there's there's Egypts everywhere. There's gonna
Yeah.
be idiots wherever. It goes beyond that. You know what I mean? There's gonna be ignorance. There's gonna be like stupidity, and I think you just need to like just clear out the noise. Once I started not using anger and letting anger control my actions, is when I started to like see the fruition of it. You know what I mean? Like if someone says something to me, like I'll give it them back, like verbally. You know what I mean? Because the words can't. What's that word gonna do to me? Yeah. And when I got to college is when like I realized like right, these are the type of people that I mess with. You know what I mean? Because like by that time you've cut off all like the people that you don't need, kind of thing. Yeah. And you kind of figuring out like what people are about and stuff. And obviously like the rave scene and like house was massive. Yeah, during like college days. So like going to like house raves and like stuff like that. And yeah, it just kind of changed my mentality, made me a lot more chill. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like I say, like I think I think house is having its resurgence again, which I'm loving. In the city of Preston, because mate, there used to be so many sick house events going on. But yeah, like it just kind of like died out after a bit. Yeah, but it's coming back. That's what I'm saying, man. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
DJs and stuff
Yeah.
bringing that kind of like flavor back to Preston, man, which is good to see. You know what I'm saying?
A lot
Um,
of people I know DJ wise, they doing a lot of like house events and stuff. So
well,
definitely.
hit me up, man. Hit me up. I'll be there, bro. You know what I mean? I'm always
I
up for
mean,
those.
I don't know. I think you might have liked it. Your Preston DJ Social.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Big up them, man.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just interviewed Jason today. That runs that event. Like, a really nice guy, Jason, and
Really class guy, man. I've met him. Yeah, he's a good
and
dude, man.
I mean, he's doing him and Emma are doing so much for the city of Preston. I just love it. Like, you know, that they're just trying to make great music events in Preston.
So that's what I mean. Something in the water, man. People are clocking on. People are like realizing the potential that this city has, man. And do you know what? If 5 years down the line, yeah, Preston's a household name in the Northwest, man. Like you know who are the pioneers, man. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I think what we're going to do now is just do some quick fire questions,
Hmm.
and they'll wrap it up then. So,
Yeah, man.
currently, what is the biggest challenge for you on a daily basis with your music?
Uh, Keeping motivated, man. Motivation is one of the hardest. It's you win life and like trying to hold down a job and stuff like that, and you know how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Keeping motivated, keeping like on that sort of wave where you're wanting to write. I think that's the hardest thing I'd say.
What is your biggest ambition for your music?
Biggest ambition, mate, to be respected, man, and like known for like what you create, and to maybe like just do a show with some of the greats, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely, definitely. This next question is a hard one, so I will understand if you need a bit of time here.
yeah, go on.
I find this question hard. I feel like it changes all the time for me, depending
Yeah,
on
go.
what I listen to. So, who would be the dream artist to collaborate with?
Oh, American or UK, or
Let's
is
say
it
one of.
overall?
You're not the first. The last person that asked that was a rapper on my podcast. So it's interesting that they both say America and UK. It must be a rapper thing that.
Yeah, man,
So
because there's different flavors in it, man.
so I'm gonna say I'll let you have one of each country. So one American, one Brit.
Right, American. Bloody hell.
It's
I'd
hard,
say
isn't
Scottish.
it?
It is hard, but I think for me it would have to be Tyler the Creator, man. Tyler the Creator. Like,
yeah.
I'm massive fan of him since like the first albums that he did, man, like and Goblin and things like that, and then all the way to his new album Chromacopia. I actually went to see him a couple
Wow.
months back, man, and it was amazing, bro. You know what I mean? Like it was just everything from production, like how he like performed, like the thing was just a complete like it was just an absolute shellers, bro.
Okay,
Um,
and
U
then the
UK
Brits. Yeah.
UK man, it's gotta be Kano, bro. Kano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect that.
He's been my favorite. He's been my favorite UK artist, man, like since kid. So, and he was the one who got me onto like that kind of sort of music. So, yeah, man, Kano, hands down.
Love that. So, similar vein of question. So, what would be your dream festival or concert or venue to perform at?
Hard one. Uh, if we're thinking massive scale,
Yeah, like
like,
I mean, it's free to dream. So,
yeah, you know what I mean? It's free to dream. I like that, bro. I like that. Tomorrowland. Let's go with that.
yeah,
Tomorrowland.
cool, man. I like
You,
that.
I want to see Sydney Sweeney pulling up, mate. You know what I mean? Front row.
Okay, so the final one is there any other like aspirations in music or anything? Like, oh, the example I'll give, I would I would love to write like a dance version of a James Bond like title theme, like a really sort of dance electronic music sort of. Do you know like the name of the song, like uh Goldeneye or something, or whatever it might be? You make
Yeah,
the title track for that. Like for me, like growing up as a kid, like my parents and my granddad used to always put like old films on, and it was only the James Bond films that like I'd sit up and watch because there was a bit of a decent story, some action finally. So that's where it comes from. But for you, what would be like that other thing in music that you think, you know, that would be great?
What, like a different avenue? If I went to do music, what would I do? Kind of thing.
No, like that. Like, so it's still in music, but like something you can do in music that like isn't like a main like making an album or something. Is there anything else?
Oh yeah. Doing like movie like kind of music, man. Like
Yeah,
like do you see how Pharrell did all the music in Despicable Me, for example?
yeah, yeah,
And like look at how look at how much that like went off, you know what I mean? The music for
yeah,
that like was Happy was in like the charts for like what like 6, 7, 8 weeks or more. You know what I mean? I think movies, yeah, definitely would be it. Because you see certain movies, it reminds you of like that era, you know what I mean?
yeah. Definitely. Like, for me, it's always like All Star from the Shrek film. It takes me
Yeah,
back to
hey
it,
now,
takes
yeah.
me straight back to it. Now, recently, I was doing a DJ set, and I felt like a club version of it. Like someone had made like from scratch. They took the vocals and they made like a club version of it, and is actually really really good. And I played it one time. I was DJing at a set, and like
Yeah.
the whole crowd was like,
Yeah.
"Hang on a minute,
That's it, man.
I recognize this song," but because it was different enough, they didn't. It took a few moments, and then they just loved it. It was great, man. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's
I love
the
that. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. So to make sure that people can find your stuff, so what
Mhm.
platforms is your content on, and how are we spelling the name so they make sure we do find your stuff?
Yeah, man. So you can get me on Instagram, which is S3raph underscore underscore. That's my Instagram handle. And TikTok is just Seraph underscore 95. You can catch me on there, mate. Obviously, I'll be posting a lot more in the next coming months. I'm kind of just like getting back in the lab, writing. But yeah, if you want to follow me on Spotify as well, just type in I'm just Seraph SERAPH on there. You can just look up one of my songs and find me. And yeah, man, I really respect what you're doing. And yeah, just keep at it, bro. And like, hopefully, we'll just keep doing a back and forth between us, man, and
Definitely, man.
we'll
Definitely.
help each other grow and help build this tribe that we're trying to bring. You know what I mean?
100% I'm with you there, man. Like, I want to say, I appreciate you giving me your time. Enjoyed having the conversation with you, and yeah, stay in contact, and we'll see you on the next one, man. Thanks very
Yeah,
much.
man. Peace, peace.
In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.